Warning, this series is not how to paint minis, but to show you guys how I paint mine, and to also answer your questions and comments. Enjoy! Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 1 of Paint It Red, and this episode I'll be painting HARKEVICH the Iron Wolf. Yes, a warcaster for the KHADOR faction, which I'm really looking forward to using because I'll probably be taken to ETC. Moving on into it, as you can see I've already started HARKEVICH, and my lovely red colour I use is actually Scorn Red because I prefer it to you know, KHADOR red, because, you know, KHADOR are known for their red. But anyway, we'll move on to his fur on his coat slash trench coat, and I like to use a paint called Kommander Harkevich. I like this colour because when you add an ink over the top of it, it gives that fur that, you know, rugged look, because that's what it would look like in the trenches if you were in there all day. So I think it works really well, and so I put it on quite thick as well. And then I spread it out the paint because it's quite a liquidy paint. And there is his trench coat done. But before we move on to his collar and armor plate, we'll take a question from my good friend Mike. And Mike asks, another very cool battle report, Lee. So, how do you reckon Butcher 3 would have stood up against Butcher 2 and his 42 Doom Reavers? Also, thanks for the compliment. You know, Butcher 3 is pretty darn powerful, but so is Butcher 2. So you know what, maybe that should be a battle report in the future, maybe. I don't know, leave a comment below, guys, what you think. I don't know. Butcher 3 is pretty darn good, you know, Flashing Blade is pretty darn awesome. But so is, you know, Butcher 2. Butcher 2's, you know, he's no joke. So both of them colliding in a battle report could, you know, we should do that. That sounds like a good battle report. So I need to find a Butcher 3, which I do own. But I just need to find a Butcher 2 and 42 Doom Reavers. I wonder if anyone in the local area would give me a game or something like that. But anyway, moving on. It is time to paint his collar. And I have to be very careful here because you know, if you make a mistake, you have to go back and do any touch-up mistakes. So I take my time on this little bit, and you know, even if I do mistakes, I can easily go back and touch it up. Okay, now it's Fear the Beard time. I will use Bestial Brown and begin to paint his beard, because that's one of his main features. Other than that lovely leg of lamb weapon he has a ridiculous awesome beard. Okay, we move then on to his bling, as I like to call. We'll use Shining Gold to paint his shoulder pads, his coat trim, his boiler on the back, his pins on his trench coat, and his chest plate. So, you know, I like my KHADOR. If you've seen any of my colour schemes, I like my bling a lot. I like the gold. I like it to be shiny. So as you can see, we are going to touch up all these things in this lovely little clip here. And with that being painted and all looking nice there, we'll move on to our second question. And our second question is by Advanced Maneuvers, and they say, thank you very much for the battle report. The Butcher 3 army is very inspiring. Yes, NIEK does put us all to shame. But he says, for the PIR episode, what are your thoughts on the new KHADOR Journeyman Warcaster? And do you have any battle groups in mind for him? And so does, I can't pronounce your name and I will not butcher it. He also says, another question, sorry, but also, are you looking forward to the Warmachine tactics game and the Journeyman Warcasters? Well, let's talk about the Journeyman Warcaster first, then let's talk about KHADOR tactics. But as you can see, he looks like a smug mother trucker. He looks like he will fit in perfectly in the KHADOR faction. He has his stats that you can see on the board, which I'm really looking forward to, because he actually adds a lot to this faction, I think, personally. And his spells obviously Razor Wind, you know, the normal spam you get with most KHADOR characters, but his awesome spell of Redline, which is target Warjack in this model's battle group gains +2 strength and speed and can run, charge, or make power attack slams and tramples without spending focus. When it ends its turn, it suffers D3 damage points. I don't know about you, but that is pretty awesome. But I'll get back to my thoughts on that as soon as I've read his other stuff. His stats across the board is he's got a speed of 6, a strength of 6, a mat 6, rat 4, defense 14, armor 13, command 8. He has a hand cannon, range 12, rate of fire 1, power is 12. He has a blade which has a power strength of 11. He has 4 focus. He also has 5 damage boxes, and he consists of 3 points. He's a Journeyman Warcaster, and he is fearless. So he's a Journeyman Warcaster, meaning this model is not a Warcaster, but has the following Warcaster special rules in the battle group, commander, control area, focus manipulation, power field, and spellcaster. But he also has a really awesome thing which I think makes him even more of a douche, which is Sucker. And if this model is directly hit by an enemy ranged attack, choose a friendly living non-incorporeal warrior model within 2 inches of it to be directly hit instead. Basically, what he does is he just grabs a guy and uses him as a human shield. What a douche. He is going to fit in perfectly in the KHADOR faction. Now, my thoughts of a battle group with him. Obviously, my first thing is taking a conquest. Gosh, adding extra 2 strength would be awesome. Adding an extra 2 speed to him, just, oh my gosh, that just sounds fantastic. And, you know, having mechanics there, and if he gets too close, just sacrificing a mechanic with Sucker. Oh my gosh, that's just unbelievable. But then, my opinion on Warmachine tactics. I've seen the gameplay. It looks pretty cool. I think it's going to be turn-based, so you know what? I am looking forward to it, but I'd rather just roll dice and just do it that way instead of, you know, playing a video game. I'm kind of like that with most games I play. Like the Space Hulk, I love playing the board game, but I've seen videos of the new game of that, and I'm not 100% sold on it either. I'd rather just roll the dice instead of just clicking a button and praying that I get a 6 or whatever. But anyway, we are going to move on, and with that question answered, we are going to move into painting some Chaos Black onto Harkevich's armor. So as you can see, I'm going to be touching up some areas which basically is going to be outlining the trim of his armor, which should be fantastic. And we now move on to his weapon. And as you can see, I've started work already on it with some silvers, some golds, and some ice blues for the magic ability inside it and stuff. So we are just going to continue to use shining gold once more to add to the bling of this mace. And with that painting done, we are going to move into our third question, and it is again by the guy who I don't want to butcher your name. He says, what is your opinion on Old Witch of KHADOR, and do you have her, and have you played her? I haven't played with her, but I've played against her, and she is really good. She plays like a Krix caster. She has the same feat, similar to Epic Denegra, I believe. But yeah, she's really good, and she offers, you know, the whole arc node ability with the scrapjack, and that being stealth is pretty cool. So she adds a lot of different dimensions to KHADOR, which we don't normally have. So she plays very different compared to, say, a Butcher or even Harkevich, for example. But she is definitely someone I am looking forward to getting, and hey, you never know, if I do get her, she might end up being on a Paint It Red episode. Now it's time to add some liquid skill, as Tin Man XL would say, and we will be adding a bit of Null Oil ink over my lovely Warcaster here, and obviously the mace. And as you can see, he is looking very tasty right now, and also his mace. Well, now I glued the mace onto Harkevich, so he's now looking more like a Warcaster we've all seen before, and with his arm attached, he is definitely looking very, very good. Now we'll go back to using the colour Bestial Brown for painting Harkevich's boots and his straps on his legs. This is one feature I've left till last because obviously with my bases, if you haven't seen any of them, I like to make them a little bit more themed. So we'll make sure that I don't ruin the base. We'll now go back to using Commando Khaki and Lead Bleacher silver kind of colour from GW for Harkevich's front plate and his leg straps, etc. And with that little section painted, we are going to answer another question, and this comes from Facebook and my good friend Marth. You should check out his channel, it is in the link below. If you had to choose 2 Warcasters among the caster pool of the Motherland, who would it be for you? Now, I thought about this long and hard, but my first one would obviously be Epic Sorcia, because she's just too awesome. If we were just going to go by the game, this is kind of what I'd like, but also just because how she looks and how she is in the fluff as well. Sorcia's pretty awesome. If you haven't played her, her feat is ridiculous, and she is just fantastic. She is just so good, just ridiculously good. I love Epic Sorcia. She is like my woman crush of the KHADOR faction. And with my second caster, I'll have to go with Karchev the Terrible, just because KHADOR is well known for its armor, and he is just awesome. I'm sorry, he just looks cool. Obviously, he might not be the most competitive caster, but if you know me, I like have a really jack-heavy focused lists most of the time, because I think that's what Warmachine should be. It shouldn't be all spammed by infantry. So they're my 2 lists, Marth. You're probably going to leave a comment below saying that's either good or that's very bad, but I'm looking forward to hearing what you say, Marth. So, moving on, we're going to take Scorn Red again, and we're also going to take Chaos Black, and we're going to finish off his arms. So we'll be using the red, you know, to just give another thick coat for the base coat of his arms, and we'll use Chaos Black to outline some of his armor again. And then we'll be adding some Shining Gold and some Lead Bleacher again to add detail to the blingy bits. And with that being said, we are going to answer another question from my good friend NIEK. He says, an X-Wing related question. What are your thoughts on the new large ships? Now, if you guys haven't seen these, we have the Tantum 4 and the Rebel Transport. These ships are going to be really fun, period. They have new move templates, so how you would normally play an X-Wing, these guys will move a little bit differently. You know, they've got energy cards, which, you know, allows other things to be added, such as, you know, single turbo blasters, quad laser cannons, just so awesome. Just so many different things that can be added due to these things. Also, you've got to look at it, they're going to be super, super heavy. Because, look, they've got like 4, for example, the transport has 8 hull and 4 shields, which, you know, that is pretty hard to chew through. That's almost up there with the Millennium Falcon. But, you know, I want to show you what this ship can actually do, though, as well. Especially the Tantive 4 more than the Rebel transport. The Tantive 4 can just do this. He's floating. He moves into space, and then he can overlap other ships. So he overlaps and ends up hitting another, you know, 2 of those TIE fighters. And you know what happens to those TIE fighters? Oh yeah, they explode. So this thing is just going to be doing a destruction derby on jobs when it comes to, you know, using your TIE swarms and stuff, which I'm super looking forward to because, you know, why not? These ships will change the game a little bit and add, you know, a little bit more to it as well. I know with the Rebel Transport you get Porkins and a few other things, so I'm looking forward to them. But obviously, you know, I'm not going to be spending all my money quite yet on these things because obviously, hopefully going to Nashville and all this stuff, I might have to hold off on buying some things. Finally, we are going to paint his gun / holster and his goggles. And we're going to be using the colours of Bestial Brown, Lead Bleacher and Shining Gold to just, you know, put the finishing touches on this model. And we'll take our final question of this episode by Neek again via my Facebook group. He says, knowing that you are secretly working on a Troll Blood force, don't let the butcher find out, what are your plans for the army? What caster lists will you have, a special theme for it, and a colour scheme? Well, with my Troll Bloods, one of my good friends, Alan Haynes, who's one of my subscribers to this channel, he is going to be painting my Troll Bloods. I'm supposed to send them off to him, but obviously I haven't yet. But I'm going with a theme from my favourite ice hockey team called the New York Islanders. So as you can see the logo on the screen, it's going to be orange, blue and white. And I have the battle group already painted, but you can probably find it out on Alan's channel. I'll leave it in the link below. He painted my army up a bit, and I'm hopefully going to be sending him my Earthborn and a couple other things and a couple other Warcasters. But my Warcasters I've got Borka, Gunbjorn, and I believe just Madrak at the moment. Units wise, I've got Femblades, Champions, and the Krillstone, and then Warbeasts I've got Rourke, a Bomber, Blitzer. So yeah, I've got, you know, I think I already have like a 50-point army list already. I just need to get it painted. So yeah, my Troll Blood force will be coming. I definitely want to get in a battle report with them before I move to Nashville, hopefully. We are going to be basing the model now, and the basing is very simple because the basing for me is a simple method, and with all my Khadorian army you'll see this, and we'll have a base coat of Greatcoat Grey, followed by a dry brush, a little light dry brush by an old colour I still have, which is Space Wolf Grey. This paint is from 2005. It still works. I've looked at the new Space Wolf Grey, and it doesn't, or well, whatever it's called now because they changed the name, it isn't the same colour. So I need to keep this alive for finishing off my whole KHADOR army. And that is it, guys. That is Harkevich. Look how nice he looks. I'm really happy how he turned out. I think he looks good. You know, he's a good tabletop standard, which I seem to always paint, as you can see as I rotate it round. There's his back a little bit, and you know, I do paint all the time, but you know, I'm not one of these amazing painters. Like I said at the beginning, this isn't to show you or teach you how to paint it. This is just, you know, something so I can paint my army, but also to interact with you guys as my subscribers. So guys, that is it. That is the first episode of Paint It Red in the books. Thank you all for watching for the entirety of the video. Remember to leave a like and a comment / question for the next episode of Paint It Red. If this is the first time you've ever seen any of my content, why don't you check out my channel in the description below, or click that lovely subscription button right there. You can also check us out on Facebook and Twitter, where I shout out questions or any content that is going to be coming up, so you can get a sneak preview of what's coming out. But I'm going to open it up to you guys now for the next model I should paint on Paint It Red. I would like to either paint Strakoff, because I have him in my paint pile, or Butcher 3. Now if I did Butcher 3, it'll probably only be the Butcher, because I don't want to do the Arguses on air because they're going to be a lovely pain in the butt, but mainly butcher. So guys, with that being said, remember to leave a question, and I cannot wait to read and answer them on the next episode of Paint It Red. So yeah guys, leave a like, subscribe and share this video, and hopefully you like this because this is a little bit different to what I'm normally used to. So take care and have a good one.